We're recording. Hi.
Hello.
Witchworth number 2. What are we going to talk about?
First of all, we're going to say we still don't know what we're doing.
That's okay.
But that's okay. It's just keeping it real.
We were at Mind, Body and Spirit Festival today, so we are tired, exhausted. We're in Ciara's house because Ciara gracefully drove. And we bought, well, I certainly bought stuff I shouldn't have bought at all.
We bought way too much stuff. That's okay.
It's okay, I need to be supervised when I'm out, and she's not a very good supervisor. So she just goes, you should get it.
And then I'm like, oh my God, I need to get it too. FOMO.
Yes, FOMO is real. I have really bad FOMO. So I suppose we're just really saying hi. We're still here. We have been doing plenty of witchy stuff. If anyone did anything on the full moon. What did I do on the full moon?
We went to a witch's circle.
Oh yeah, we did do a witch's circle. So we did like a love spell, which was very good for Valentine's actually.
And it wasn't really love.
It was really good.
It wasn't for attracting love because neither of us need to do that. We've both got partners. But it was very much focused on self-love, which was, I think, what everybody in that circle really, really needed.
Yes.
And we all just came away feeling pretty amazing.
It was very good, actually. I've already lit mine. Have you lit in yours? I've lit mine several times.
No, but I am going to show you what we did.
Oh.
Just
a demonstration.
Yeah. So we got candles and we actually, I don't know if you can see. There we go. So I actually, we like engraved these sigils into the candles and then we put black witch's salt on to kind of solidify them into the candle. So this one, if anybody knows Laura Tempest. Zarkov, this is her power sigil that I put in here. I just found it really fitting. And then we put rose petals, kind of melted them onto the outside. And then we all lit our candles together and went through a ritual. And it was so beautiful. It was really, really lovely.
Yeah. I put rose petals all over mine because it was like on fire.
It was very funny. Very funny.
And I was trying to concentrate on the meditation whilst also dousing I was like, I was trying not to blow on it because I was like, oxygen's is going to make it worse. And it was like really going up and I was like, whoa.
But I don't think anybody else really picked up on that. Like you kept your shit together really well.
Yeah, I did. I used another candle actually to douse. I kept hitting it with the other candle. I know it did. I was like, okay, just chill out, rosies. Anyway, it was beautiful. So I suppose I don't really think about doing love spells because I just don't.
But when you say a love spell,
I think people automatically think it's partnership related and we don't think about our own love or just the love with everything, right? Connection to self, connection to friendship, connection to sisters, connection to family. Yeah. So it was really about self-worth, and mine in particular was to do with self-worth and growth within love.
Mm. Yeah, and I really loved that Stella brought it back. Stella was the host of the circle. She brought it back to looking at the little you, so the little Ciara, the little Naomi, the little Stella.
Yeah, that was really good.
What that little person really needed, and really nurturing the self-love for that, which I really enjoyed that part.
Yeah, it was really good actually because we sort of focused on the word play and what play means. And obviously when we think of play, we think of children and what they do is play. But play is really important still for adulthood. And it can be anything. I think the whole idea behind it is that when we indulge ourselves in play, we have to do it just based on the fact that we have no outcome. That was the good thing. I can't remember who said that. I think Rosie might have said it, where she said like there's no outcome. You have to do it without any idea of like having an outcome or having a goal, no expectation around it. So like often as an adult, we have so many responsibilities and even in witch work, right? When we're doing any sort of spell work or anything, there's always a goal in mind and there's always some sort of progression and we want to do this because we want to achieve this, that and the other. But play is totally different. Play is when there's nothing to be achieved and there's no progression and you're not doing it you're only doing it literally for self-indulgence. Yeah. And play can look like anything. So when I thought back to my childhood and myself as a child and we regressed into like our inner child and saw ourselves in our body, like what was play for me? Well, first of all, what came to mind is I used to like keep worms. Like I used to find worms and keep them in matchboxes and everything. I don't know. And then I used to sleep with them in my bed and my mom found them all the time. Anyway, that gives me the ick. Like I couldn't do that now. I had a thing with earthworms and I used caterpillars too. I'd do that and ladybugs. Anything insect related except for spiders I used to keep. But that was different. That's in Ireland. Like nothing can kill you in Ireland,
No.
insect related.
No.
Here, I wouldn't be out in the woods picking up any insect.
No.
So when she said your inner child, I was like, I don't think I want to be collecting earthworms again. That's something I don't know that I would find that indulgent. Also, I would, like, where would I even find them? I was like, no. But then I thought of other things that I do as a child, and I thought I loved crafting. Like I used to make things all the time, like whatever. I used to just suddenly decide I'm going to make a boat or I'm going to make a pair of shoes, and I would just like go start rummaging, finding stuff to make.
Yeah.
I absolutely, totally loved that. And I loved being organized. I used to love like playing office worker and like stamping things and like marking things and being a teacher and all sorts of stuff. So that to me was really play indulgent.
Yeah.
But I find I do actually do that, and witchcraft allows me to be totally and utterly creative with spells and how I craft things. And just building anything I want, really. Like I just sort of think, okay, I want to do a spell with this goal in mind, but then I think to myself, but I can literally make it look however I want. I can use whatever materials I want. Do I want to use rope? Do I want to use candles? Do I want to use water? Do I want it to be really earth-based? And do I want to make a puppet? Whatever. So I find that really helpful, because even though I do that now, I do realize that when I do that, I feel very indulgent at peace when I'm doing that. And I'm pretty organized. And I work in a job it's not really organized. Well, I'm organized when I work in it.
Yeah.
But I feel like I have followed that sort of play. I feel like that has shaped my life, if you know what I mean, the way I play as a child into what I do now, except for the insect collecting. Mind you, I do like dead things. Like I've got skulls and but I don't want a live worm. No. I'm like,
have a worm
do
farm.
I? No. I don't mind worms. I suppose if I had to choose any insect, a worm would be the preferable. I'm not even keen on caterpillars.
That's because a lot of them here are itchy.
Yeah, that's true. And those furry ones,
No.
Okay. So you say if you really think back about what you did as a child and what you really can just really think about in that imaginative play space, what did you do?
It's very similar to you. Like I loved being organized, and I loved like stationery stuff, and I always loved to dress up, but I loved to sing.
Oh, did you?
I loved singing.
You got a voice of an angel and you just haven't said anything to anybody.
But to me, I'm not even answering that, but to me, very much like my play, I felt was quite often squashed, very much like my beliefs in general.
Yeah.
It wasn't sort of beaten out of me or anything, but I never had the confidence to take it anywhere.
Yeah.
I can remember once auditioning for, the school was putting on like a talent show, and my next door neighbor and I used to do the usual girly thing. We used to always, put music on and choreograph and all that sort of stuff. But then when we went to do this audition, I actually couldn't sing in front of people. So I mimed.
As in from nerves?
Yeah. So I mimed, and the girl from next door, she dressed up like a fucking chicken and decided to do like a funky chicken dance to a Madonna song.
Mate, I love that.
The teacher who was, saying yay or nay, she basically said, look, if you want to do this, you're going to have to sing. And I was just like, But I find that that's very much a lot of those feelings come out now. Like with my witchy stuff, I'm very introverted with it. I'm not really out there. I'm kind of like a witch in the closet. I don't broadcast it to anyone because it's very frowned upon by certain people in my family. And so to me, like it wasn't really play that came up for me. It was more looking at the what does little Ciera need?
Yeah.
And what do you need to give her to nurture that? And I think going back to my roots as a child to what I really loved doing, if I can nurture that, I can also nurture my craft.
Oh, that's a nice sentiment. Yeah.
Whether I will or not, that's another thing.
Doesn't matter. I feel like though, when you're in those circles, and you don't have to be in a circle to like come to that realization, you can just sit and contemplate. This is why hermit energy, girl, this is why it's so important to just have a moment to just be in your own space, in your own thoughts without anybody interrupting them all the time. Like, I feel like once you become aware of it, it's not like you forget. You don't really forget because you know, it's like you can't unknow something.
Yeah.
Just like when they invent something, they can't uninvent it.
Yeah.
Right? Which is why it's so hard now for, like, look at the world at the minute. It's in chaos, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, and we've got AI and we've got this and we've got that and whatever. And it's like, yeah, but we can't uninvent it, right? It's like, it's, we need to learn to grow with it, or unless there's some sort of weird electronic apocalypse. That, like,
that's what I love about the craft for us. We're very much earth-based. So we go back to that natural.
We go back to natural roots. Yeah. Tradition. Tradition, again, doesn't have to be, it could be, a tradition is just something that's like a routine that's happened. Like a tradition can be, you can create your own tradition with your kids, stuff like that there. It doesn't necessarily mean way back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, what did the witches do back in the 16th century? I don't know.
They certainly didn't use AI.
They didn't use AI. But
that's not to say that those things aren't useful either. Like, I've heard of people using things like ChatGPT to help them create a spell.
Yeah, look, it's a topic. It's a widely discussed topic, and because I'm in research, it's one of our big research points, and they look at it from all different types of points of view for how they're going to research it and what they're going to do it, use it for, and how can we use it ethically, which is a big one. I think that's the biggest. There's a risk involved. Well, there's a risk involved in it, but then they're like, they want to be able to use it responsibly or ethically so that they're not stealing work, or that students aren't using it, for example, to pass, it's like write an entire thesis through AI. Anyway, it's a whole thing. We're not getting into the politics. No. We're just saying it's part of our, like, once something's invented and it's been out there, we can't uninvent it. That's the way it is. Once we know something, we can't unknow it. So I feel like that's the same with witchy stuff. When you go into a meditation or any sort of circle work, once you've become aware of that, you've now become aware, your brain has like actually logged, oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, I didn't actually have play, or that wasn't actually something that, I did do it sometimes, but it was like,
And do you know the funny thing about that? I've literally just had like a light bulb moment as we're talking. So I used to love to sing as a child. My daughter also sings, and she has the confidence to sing in front of people. And when we know that she has solos coming up or she's singing as part of her choir at school, we get her to practice all the time, all the time. And I will practice a lot with her. And there are times when we're singing and I just burst into tears. Like, I get choked up. I literally cannot sing because I'm choked up. And I think it has a lot to do with that inner child thing. Like, that's just kind of come to me. I think it's because I've never really sort of nurtured that. I've always suppressed it. But when I'm singing with Willow,
you're seeing
because I'm trying to help boost her confidence and go, don't sing like this into the microphone. You need to stand up tall and proud and project your voice, and people at the back can't hear you. And when we're in the car, it's like, I can't hear you. You need to sing louder than the music. Blah 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 blah. I think that's been a big thing for me. Not nurturing that inner me.
So are you nurturing what I think? So that's good, right? Lots of people, lots of mothers do that, where we, again, great quote is, we want to leave our kids better than how we were brought up, right? Yeah. And that's not to say we weren't brought up right. It just means it's like you want to leave the world better than how you left it. It's like the same with your kids. Yeah. It's like you want to be better each time. It's hard though, right? Because you live in it's a completely different generation by the time you have kids usually. Yeah. And the stuff you have to navigate is completely different. But the same can be true in witchcraft, right? Like the whole space is it's, like the internet, we've said this before, the internet and books, and there's so much help and support out there, but there's almost too much.
There's a lot of noise,
right? And there's a lot of noise, and you're not sure, and then you're always like, is it right? Is it not right? Like, nobody really tells you, like, there's no black and white. It's like a whole big gray area. And I think as well, you have to, like, we try to nourish our kids, and we try to, give them confidence, or things that we felt we lacked when we were children. But then you have to say to yourself, like, for you, because I had, as in terms of my childhood, it was not to say yours wasn't fine, but I just mean as in, like, I had time to play, it was just different. But are you're nurturing her, but are you nurturing yourself through her, or are you actually nurturing yourself as well?
Well, I think
you'd have to think about that, right?
I think it was more through her. But now that I've come to that realization after Stella's circle, it's not just her. I've got to nurture me. When you're on an airplane, when the masks drop, you've got to put your own on before you can help anybody else.
So you've got, again, very difficult to do. If you're a witch and a mother, that's very hard. And also work and everything else, and a mother and a wife and whatever. Again, that's really hard, right? It's like you do nurture your children you nurture yourself through your children, but that's not enough because you're essentially doing it for them.
Yeah.
So you have to also say to yourself, yes, but how do I nurture that through me?
Yeah.
Bust out a solo, Ciera, let's hear it.
No thanks.
I used to sing as a kid too.
Did you?
Yeah. I love singing, actually. Maybe one day we'll do a duet. Bella, sometimes Bella has a great voice, but she'll sing something and then I'll sing it, and she'll be like, oh, Mommy, and I'll be like, I know, I can sing. Ta-da, ta-da. I used to be in the choir.
But going back to that self-nurturing thing, we were actually talking on the way home about, I was complaining to Naomi because I feel like I haven't done anything witchy for myself since January.
Yes.
And she was like, actually you have, because you went to circle and full moon, and you cast a spell when you got home, and you've done this and you've done that. When we were at MBS, we actually bought some new decks of cards, which
is Mind, Body, Spirit. In case anybody doesn't know, that's what
you
MBS
did say
is.
that. You said we went earlier.
I did, yes, but I meant as in the acronym. People might be like, "What's MBS?"
Oh yes, sorry. So now that I have some new cards that I kind of feel like I resonate a lot with, getting back into that witchy practice of pulling out cards once a day or once a week, or like we've both picked out cards for the whole year, and I was really struggling to read them, my cards for February, so I brought them out and was showing Naomi when we got home, and she was like, oh yeah, this and this, and it's so like the cards that I have for February are so true for this month for me, which is great, but I feel like I need to do more. Like I feel like I need to connect in with my witch's self more, which is what I'm planning on doing with some of the goodies that we got.
But it's also okay to be stalled, right? Like I can look at cards and just be like, I mean, yeah, I've read cards for a long time, but I can still look at cards and be like, I just can't get it together. Or I have like two sets of different, like this side I can understand, this side I can understand, but they don't merge together. And I'm like,
yeah,
what does that mean? Like, I think don't be so disheartened on you. I think sometimes we're so hard on ourselves as women, mothers. We are so hard on ourselves. We have to just get out of shaming ourselves or saying like, I can't read it, and it's like, yeah, okay, so you can't read it today. All right, that's fine.
Ask a witchy sister to help you out.
So ask a witchy sister and we'll read it together.
Absolutely.
And we did read it together. So it's fine. And even now, like one of my cards for the year, I'm focusing around emotion, because I'm an motionless robot.
You're not really.
I'm not. I'm actually not. I used to be very emotional as a kid, but I just sort of blocked that part of me off just because I have a very challenging life. And I just really don't have time for emotion sometimes. I'm very caring. I just don't show emotion, like as in crying or... and also when I cry, I just feel like after I've cried for 5 minutes, I feel so much better that I'm like, phew, that's me for at least 7 months. I don't think I need, like it's cool. But anyway, it's not about the actual physical crying. It's just about recognizing emotion. I'm trying to recognize emotion within myself to just try and, because it's a big part of some of my problems. So I have a deck. I have the Reclaim Oracle. Can't remember who it's by. I'd have to look it up. But I love her. I have her Lilith Tarot as well. I love her as well. But it focuses around emotion. So that is my center card. And then the cards around it are tarot and Lenormand and different things, same as yours. But I got disgust for this month, the word disgust, and I could not get on board with it. And it really confronted, like when I got the card, I was like so confronted by the word, not the image, the word. And again, I spoke to you and I said, it's so like, and this is true again with decks or any sort of divination that you're doing, because sometimes a keyword doesn't fit. And it's not that the word disgust didn't fit. It's just for me, when I think of disgust, I don't use that word ever really. And the word, like we discussed, I said, like when I think of disgust, I think of something really vile, just really, really horrific and vile. That is what disgust means to me. I would never use it as a term to describe anybody like in my family or anybody I know, or even challenges, or even if I'm super angry at somebody, like I would just still never use that word. But it was actually, anyway, we worked on it, and I had to work on it for like days and days and days. And I kept coming back to it, and I read the book. But when I read the passage in the book, I was like, it still doesn't really, like, that still doesn't really sit with me. And anyway, in the end, it turned out to be a health thing, which is ongoing for me. But again, what I'm saying is you don't always have to focus in on the word. Like, I think with divination, and especially with decks and things, tarot's different because tarot is very fluid. But with oracle, it gives you a key. If it gives you a keyword, we can get really stuck on the word, and we sort of forget that we are intuitive, fluid beings. And divination is meant to be fluid.
Yeah.
Right. It's meant to be a flow. It's meant to be fluid, and we have to allow those messages to come through so that we can actually work it out. And sometimes as well, if you do have to spend days on end working out a card, that's okay, because I feel like as well, it can be messages coming through that say, you need to sit with this card. This is why it's not easy for you to read. Like maybe the message itself is, this isn't easy for you to read, so you need to, this is why we put it here. We don't want you to just read it quickly and go, okay, yeah, I know what that's about. Yeah. It's like, we want you to spend time with it. We want you to sit and look at it again. We want you to constantly look at it, because that in itself becomes like a sort of meditative practice where you like look at the card and you really look at it and you really think to yourself, what, like disgust, like why, what would I be disgusted at? Like what is that? What is going on with that? So I think that's a good way of looking at it too. Like we forget that, and we can be so hard on ourselves.
Yeah. And
don't put blocks in.
I think too, you've got to remember, it's your, like, say for instance, you're using a deck. It's your interpretation of it as well.
Yes.
You know, the book that comes with it is the author's interpretation.
Yes.
And the artist's interpretation. And yours could be completely different. So if you find that a specific card has a specific word that resonates with you, then that's what that card means for you. There is no right or wrong. The guidebook is what it is. It's a guidebook, you know.
I love how you've said that. That's so true. It's a guidebook.
Yeah. It's not like the be all and end all. Yeah. It's for when you do get stuck and you look at it and you go, is that what it means to me, or is it not? And, you know, read the passage, look at the card, look at the finer detail in the card and see what it's actually telling you. We bought a new tarot deck today, actually, and I love that in the book, as Naomi said, tarot is very fluid, but in the book, she actually breaks down like the colors that she's used and some of the key images that she uses, and what the different flowers and plants are in it that she uses and what they symbolize, which is really great because it helps you look at each card from, you know, it is tarot and it's based on the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck, but you can take your own interpretation from it as well. Like we found some of the cards when we were going through them. Yes, we could see the actual like meaning of that card in it, but we could see other things in there as well. So yeah, I think it's really just tapping into your own intuition and trusting yourself, like trusting your instincts. And that first sort of message that comes through, Naomi has always said to me, you've got to take your ego out of everything. Usually that's the right message that's coming through. So never like disregard that either.
Because your intuition flies in just before your ego jumps in.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes you've got to really try and be aware of that first conscious thought that you have, or first sort of image, or whatever, however it appears to you, right? So mine appears as words as well as images. It like just jumps in there, just sneaks right in before ego jumps in, and you're like, wait, what was the word?
Come back.
You're like, get back out of there, ego.
Yeah.
Get out. Yeah. So it's important. So we're going to show you what we got from Mind, Body, Spirit, MBS. I love that MBS. That was like
The thing that we stood in front of.
I just like, I suppose I don't hear people say it like that. Yeah, you show your nature tarot.
So the tarot that we got, Naomi actually bought this first, and then I had FOMO and had to go back and buy it.
But it is really good.
So the problem I had is I am still trying to learn tarot, and because this isn't a traditional tarot deck, it's based on the traditional Rider-Waite tarot, but the imagery is quite different. So yeah, this is by Jo Bird Art. I believe she had it printed in Australia as well.
Yes, it's printed in Australia, made in Australia, printed in Australia. She's an Australian artist as well, but her work, her stuff was really, really lovely, and it's really colourful, and as well, it gives me these real weird psychedelic vibes because it's got loads of like mushroom artwork in it.
And if we go with the moon,
yeah,
I'm just picking out random cards here.
Oh yeah, I love this one. We had a poppy head. This was the Page of Wands. Oh, I love that one. Right, this one, I love this. Oh, if you can see it, he's got a poppy head, and he's holding like a pocket watch. And I love that because I was like, oh, like he, you know, it's that like essence of has he got time, you know. Anyway, oh yeah, I love that one too. The Queen of Cups. Look at her. She is amazing.
What else did we have?
4 pence.
We like
with his little mushroom face. Did you have a favorite card? I
really liked this set of 3. So the 7 of Pentacles.
Yeah,
moving on to
that's actually a good angle where you are.
8 of Pentacles.
Yep.
He's like,
oh yeah, we love that one because he's got little mushrooms growing out of him and vines around his legs, as if like he's been out there so long just grafting, like just constantly grafting, like trying to get that work done.
And then the 9 of Pentacles, everything has come to fruition, full blooms.
Yeah, full blooms. I love that those, actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, her stuff is really, really lovely, and she mentions that if you see a circle, which again is so relevant to witchcraft, but if you see them standing in a circle, that's their power circle, right? So like this for the 2 of Cups, we really like that one.
Yeah, you can see the circle around the bottom.
The circle around the bottom that they're standing in. It's like this coming together of partnership, and it's like you're more powerful together, right? Or however you want to put it. Where was my devil card? I loved it. Look at this. How happy is this 10 of Cups? Look. I love that card. It's just, they look so happy.
I love to.
Oh, here was my favorite card. Sorry, Ciera. I jumped in.
You're right. Oh, yes. The little
I
mushroom
loved
skeleton
this
with
card,
the
the Page of Cups. I just love that entire image.
I loved this one as well. So you can see, like,
yes,
he's just so exhausted, unbelievably exhausted. Sorry, that the petals are falling down, but yet there's lavender in the background. Where you should be resting and sleeping, but you can't. Like, there's just so much going on, and yeah. What have we got? Oh yes. The Seven of Wands. Just being backed into a corner, and look, skeleton is just standing there with his wand going, bring it on.
You'd love that. I do really like that one too, and it had butterflies on. Yeah, it did. Butterflies on everybody's wand.
In the world. Such a beautiful depiction of the world.
What a good name. For some reason, I didn't really.
But I loved how you said to me too when we were out, you loved this deck because it was like, there was so much growth in it, even though the skeleton is like the main character.
No, you said what you said to me, which was great. You said, do you know what's great about that? There's death, but rebirth in the nature.
Which is kind of what the death card is like in tarot.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people fear the death card, but in order for something new to come in, usually something has to end, which is the death card.
So yeah, we both loved that deck.
Yeah.
I really liked it because I don't really have a lot of nature decks, and I don't really like a lot of nature decks, which sounds weird, but I just don't really find them good. Or that's the wrong word. They just don't vibe with me. But I really like that one, and I'm not a big color person either. So, but I love that one. Anyway, I got that one too. I've been looking at this one for a while anyway. Nova Witch Tarot. Again, I have seen many walkthroughs. It is in my Amazon basket, but I actually got to look through the cards myself, because even though you see walkthroughs, you still can't. Sometimes you still don't know. And anyway, it turned out I did get it. I was worried because I'm not keen on collage type decks, and it's a bit collagey. But I loved it. I've probably been watching too many Lisa Pepez videos. That's why. She loves collage. And I got this one, The Alchemist Oracle. I've never seen this one before. This one is by Zoe Sadler. Who was the Nova Witch by? Suki Ferguson and Anna Novas. Anyway, these go great together. That's why I got them. So,
want me to hold one?
Yeah, you hold that one on your side. Oh, I see. You can't really see it, but
I think because there's a lot of white space.
Because there's so much white space.
Yeah.
I'll show you a black card. Hang on. It's black and white, this deck. Look at that. Look how good they look together.
Yeah, they do.
And they have these like rainbow edges, so it doesn't, it's almost like, and it has these like sigils or astrology signs in the background, just depending on what you've chosen. Oh, that's a white card. We can't see the white. We might see that. We might see that's Deadly Nightshade. Ooh, you can
Would it
see
be better
that.
if I hold it on this side? Because my light seems to be a bit different.
Oh, there's three eyes peering over the face. Anyway, they do work really well together.
Yeah, they do. That's a great position there. You can see that.
Yeah. And these are the backs. The backs are like
I love the back.
Amazing. I've never even heard of any of these. I've never heard of this deck, the Alchemist's Oracle. So anyway, they go really well together. I haven't really gone through them in depth. So, and although the keywords, I use Oracle with my tarot. I never read Oracle on its own. That's just the way I am. But I don't know. I really liked, although they don't give keywords necessarily on the card, I can figure it out. Well, I'm going to read the book and see if it's what I think it is. Like Night Owl, potion to me is insight, right? Wisdom. Poison. There's the wee poison one, which would be caution, stay away, toxic, get out of there. Snake venom. Again, snake venom can be both. So they use it in tequila.
Do they?
Yeah.
There you go.
Not all tequila, I don't think. I don't know. I'm not a tequila person, but I read that or heard it somewhere from somebody. Anyway, so that's the Nova and the Witch Tarot. Nova Witch Tarot, the Alchemist Oracle, and Nature Survives Tarot. Go for it, Ciera. You bought a different deck as well. You bought a nice oracle.
I did. So I got the Earth Song Oracle. So it's very sort of earthy. This one is by Tarn Ellis. I've always been quite drawn to oracle decks. I think because before I knew I had actually started my witchy journey, I was buying oracle decks before tarot. Just because I don't know, I just like them, and I've always been drawn to them.
Yeah, but that's, again, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes we talk about being on the witch journey, but you could have been on the witch journey for years before that. And
Yeah.
if you were buying sort of different decks, and not trying to say you're a witch if you don't identify with that word, that's fine. But I'm talking about in terms of spiritual empowerment, or however you want to, define it.
Yeah, that's it.
I feel like you're already on that path, like well before you even sort of like
came to realize.
Yeah, like consciously we're aware.
So this deck has really beautiful like bronze gilding on the side, and I love that it's a very feminine deck. And I find it quite empowering. So each of these you probably can't really see. They've got like the main keyword, and then it's got 3 keywords, and then sort of like a little power affirmation that goes with it. So for the likes of mountain, being your main keyword, your 3 other keywords that go with it are strength, consistency, and unmoving. Remain confident in yourself and your path. And then the woman is depicted as the actual mountain. And it goes through like lots of different depictions, but the woman is always in there.
She's always part of nature, right?
Yeah.
Part of the earth,
I
should say.
And we sort of believe in Mother Gaia being earth and the creator of all things. So I just thought it was a really beautiful deck. I actually saw this on one of Lisa Pepez's videos as well.
I know. I love her.
And just really liked it.
I feel like if I lived in Canada, I'd be best friends with her.
I think so. Maybe we need to go on a trip to Canada.
I thought you were going to say move to Canada. I was going to say, okay.
But when she showed that deck, she actually had a tarot deck paired with that. What did I say it was?
I can't even remember.
Can't remember what it's called. Anyway, but I'm going to get that one as well to go with it, because a lot of my decks are just kind of whimsical all over the place and not really pairing. And I'd like to get some that specifically go really well together. No, I know you don't, but
it adds depth to a reading, I think.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I do it.
Yeah. And then Naomi, a lot of the time when Naomi does readings for me, she'll pick out a number of different decks, both tarot and oracle, but then she uses like these, I don't know what you call these.
Those?
Yeah. Because it's not really an oracle, is it?
Well, I suppose it is an oracle, but I suppose you could call it like I have well, I'm very big on folktale anyway, like witch folktale and mystical creatures and all sorts of stuff. Not that I'm into that. I'm not really into fae or mystical realms or anything, but I might choose like a creature. Like I have a creature deck. I can't even remember the name of it. It's really old, but it's great. I might choose that as like a depiction of the previous year, or like sometime like one time I got the goblin. And it was basically saying, and I got the ship as well. And then I had another card. Oh, I got like a card which was like a landscapey type of tarot, and I pick it as like an oracle, as in like that's my main overarching card. Anyway, together, what it sort of meant was don't allow the goblin to board your ship into the new year, right? So then that like tells me a little. I mean, it's like a little sort of like snippet of like, don't let certain things come into the new year with you. And then I do the actual read for the year.
Yeah.
So I can see it. So
these
sort of like that. Yeah. So I suppose they are oracle decks, but they're specifically chosen. They're not like those type of, they're specifically like maybe character based is a better way of putting it.
So this is, I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Laku? Dragons, Laku? I don't know.
It's basically like a dragon keyword deck. And they're little round cards.
And listen, you might think to yourself, I'm not really into dragons. It's not really for me. But they have great keywords. And the image in the middle is great. It's like a sigil that you can really see what it... Maybe that's not the best card, just because you can... Yeah. But like, yeah, that's a perfect one. You can see that one. Breath. So this is breath. Or breathe. Breath, breathe.
So they're very basic.
but they are great, and I love the size.
This one is Burden.
And it's like little, like, it looks like swords or certainly sharp objects, spears, like dangling down as if, like, you know, which totally depicts burden to me. Center. That's a heart.
So your heart is generally the center of everything. I'm not going to go.
Oh yeah, we love that
I love
one.
this one. Is this
Chaos? Yeah. So it looks like chaos, like a big. I would think of that as a big bramble bush.
Yeah.
Yeah. Choice.
So I just loved that. They're great for just giving a little bit more insight. Was that warning?
Forewarning.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and they look like they would go with a lot of things. They look like it'd be a good pairing for a message. Yeah, and that was it was like writing and a pen inside a diamond shape.
Yeah. Now, I'm not so sure whether I actually, like, I had a quick flick through the guidebook, and I'm not really sure if the guidebook is for me, but maybe when I read it a little bit more, it might be. So the guidebook gives you an affirmation for each card, and then it's got Lux shines, Terra speaks, and Umbra growls. Now, when I looked at the front of the book, that's actually... so they give you a depiction of what each of them, you can't see that, so I'm not even going to show you what each of them means. So Lux represents the shining one, Terra represents the earthy one, and Umbra represents the shadowy one. So I don't know, maybe this will come more into play when I actually read into it a bit more. But for now, I'm just really happy to use these as key cards. That's a really good one for beginning. It's like, you know, the seed being planted and the roots are taking place and it's flourishing.
Yeah, it's really good
something. Yeah.
Same with this one for strength, right? With the ram's head.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not really a dragon person. I'm pretty sure I've seen this in one of the walkthroughs that I've seen, but like ages ago, but I really quite liked it.
See, I've always had a bit of an affinity to dragons.
Oh,
I can remember many, many years ago, a dragon kept sort of appearing to me. And then I went to the Mind Body Spirit Festival. Oh, this is probably about 12 years ago, I think, with my mom. And I bought a singing bowl that actually has dragons on it.
Do you still have it?
Yeah. That was my very first singing bowl that I bought.
There you go.
And I can remember going to my psychologist not long after Oscar was born. And we were talking about dragons for some reason, and then she was off doing something else, and then she just found this random picture of a dragon, and she said, "Here, you need to keep that with you." I think it might have been on the tea box or something that we were drinking, or I don't know.
Like, you could pick a card, right? And whatever it is, say it was strength or ripples or whatever, and then you could just use your singing bowl, and it doesn't matter that the singing bowl is the same pitch for each card. It just means you're using the tune of the frequency of that singing bowl to hone into or focus your mind into that sigil.
Idea.
I know.
Look at you go.
You could totally do that, right? Yeah. Like, you could use it that way too, where you could just, because it's dragon and dragon, right? And you could say, I'm going to use, because the singing bowls put you in a trance, right? Although the vibration means something as well, and you know, for different things, right? Higher vibration for more enlightenment than this, that, and the other, and for healing and stuff. But you could use it differently, as in you're using it as a tool to focus your mind into the card.
Yeah, well, you can use singing bowls to, like, cleanse space. You can use it to cleanse crystals. You can use it to, like, clear stagnant energy in your body.
Yeah.
And so that's a great idea.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Well, only because you said with the dragons on it, and I immediately was like, oh, mate, you could put those two together and it would be amazing.
See, when you connect with your witchy sister, this stuff just kind of happens.
Ideas.
Yeah. And that's it. Like, people see things from a different perspective, and nothing is ever right or wrong. It's just take what resonates and leave what doesn't.
Yeah. So I got a couple of crystals. Not that I need more. I've only got about 5 million of them. But I did really like this. I've got a massive piece of moss agate. I've actually got 2 big pieces of moss agate, but I picked up this star moss agate.
It is beautiful.
It's hard to say fast, but I don't know. It was vibing. And
It is beautiful.
I picked it up after I bought Nature Survives Tarot, and I said to Ciera, because you know what, I just feel like those two just need to go together.
The funny thing is, you actually had a big piece of amethyst in your hand that you were going to buy.
Yes, and I put
And
it down
you went up to the people to pay for it. And
I
was
got
like,
millions
oh,
of
yeah.
amethyst.
Oh, yeah, that's what she's getting. And the next minute she comes back, I didn't get the amethyst. I got a piece of moss agate instead. Okay.
And then I didn't buy this at the Mind, Body and Spirit Festival, but they have markets outside BCC here. But now I'm not even into unicorns, but you know what it was too? Again, we're really blowing up Lisa Pepez here, but she loves unicorns.
She is a unicorn.
She is a unicorn. Yeah, that's her favorite thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is a unicorn, isn't she?
Oh, she is totally
I know.
vibing through us at the moment.
Just like Danny is crocodile, like hers is gators, right? Because she's from the deep south, but a gator anyway, totally, like it does resemble her. Like as if I know her, but like
besties.
From what I've watched tons of their videos, like literally I love them. Anyway, I couldn't not take this, so I bought. What do you call this again? Felt.
It's felt. Handmade felt.
So I bought
unicorn.
This and I'm like, I did say to the lady, I'm not into unicorns. Like, it's not a thing of mine, but mate, I love this unicorn.
So these are handmade by single mums in Nepal.
Yes.
And the stall that
it really pulled on my heartstrings.
Yeah, they like most of the proceeds go back into the community rather than
big
all of this nonsense of 80% of it goes into administration. So yeah.
Well, I just thought as well, like single moms and everything. I mean, I'm not a single mom, but I don't know. I got the desire to buy it, so I did. And she was super cheap.
Yeah, she wasn't that expensive.
She wasn't expensive
considering that she's handmade.
So I don't know what I'm going to do with her, but I don't know. She is a she, but I love the fact that she's green because you don't normally see them green. They're normally white, and I think if she was white, I wouldn't have bought her. I think it's just because she was green, and I love green. Green's one of my favorite colors.
Maybe you should call her Pappy after Lisa Pepez.
I just feel like, and just as stupid as this sounds, and slightly creepy and stalkerish, she just reminds me of Lisa Pepez again, as if I know her. But I just was like, I love her so much that I was like, I'm just going to keep her on my desk, not my altar, because I light a lot of candles in there and I don't want baby to go up in flames. Also, I'd be super sad if I burnt a hole in there accidentally, and sometimes my candles just explode. Yeah. So it's my own fault. I put way too many herbs in there. And then I just get distracted. I don't get distracted as if I'm walking away. Never leave a candle unattended. I don't leave it unattended, but I'm like meditating and the candle's maybe over there and I just happen to look across to me and I can see it like fucking going up in smoke. And I'm like,
you have melted a couple of cauldrons?
Water. I've melted a couple of cauldrons, yeah. Not cast iron ones. I have cast iron ones, but I don't use them because they're too heavy and they're awkward. So I use these tin ones. Anyway, I really shouldn't because I burnt them and they burnt a hole through the middle and I had to chuck it outside. And then, because we're in Australia too, I was like, fire's like a big thing. And I was like, shit, I need to make sure I definitely put that out. It was a forest fire overnight. I thought it was a witch. It's totally accidental. I was just trying to do a manifestation spell. I can't remember what I was even doing for that anyway. It stuffed way too many herbs in it.
But she didn't cause a bushfire. It was all good.
I didn't cause a bushfire. I am responsible witch. Be responsible, witches. Be responsible.
That's it.
I put it out with sand.
Yeah, there's a lot of sand out your side there.
Anyway, so that's essentially our show. What is this? Like a show and tell? It's just a show and tell. We just wanted to jump on because I haven't gone home yet. My kids have already rang me several times to ask where I am.
But that's okay. That's all right.
I already told them. I'm at your Auntie Ciera's. So
we wanted to do another
we wanted to jump on because we were just excited and we had a nice day today.
We did.
So you're welcome.
So if you've got any questions, let us know. If you've got any decks that you want to recommend, let us know. Because, FOMO here.
No, I got way too many as it is.
We're going to sign off.
Yeah. So enjoy.
See you next time.
Weekend.
Bye.